Two Saskatchewan RCMP officers seriously injured after being shot. The tense situation in Melville that led to a standoff. A rescue mission turns into recovery efforts. The search for a missing jet ski rider. And Partnership Probe. Will Saskatoon Council consider turning the land for the downtown arena into an urban reserve?
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with last night's shooting in Melville that left two RCMP officers seriously injured. One man remains in custody as police try to piece together how the incident unfolded. CTV's Donovan Mace has the details.
What was believed to be a routine call for service on a Sunday night quickly turning dangerous, with shots fired towards police, and now two RCMP members are in hospital with serious injuries. The incident happening at around 9:30 Sunday night, with Mounties called to the scene on 8th Avenue in Melville for reports of an assault. When responding officers arrived and approached the home, gunshots fired towards police. Neighbors telling CTV News they heard 5 gunshots at around that time. 2 officers struck by bullets and first taken to hospital in Melville before being transferred to Regina, where they continue to receive care for serious injuries. And back at the scene, a lengthy standoff going into the very early hours of Monday morning, ending with an arrest.
At approximately 2 a.m. this morning, the suspect and another occupant exited the residence. The suspect was arrested and remains in custody. The other occupant was initially detained but was released shortly thereafter, and it has been determined that that person was not involved in the incident. Saskatchewan RCMP Serious Crimes Unit has carriage of the ongoing investigation.
The National Police Federation, which represents RCMP members, issuing a statement Monday saying attacks and violence towards those who serve is unacceptable. Every day, RCMP members put themselves on the line to protect us. They move towards danger when all others run from it. This violence cannot be something we normalize, excuse, or ignore. And while this incident appears to be isolated and on the extreme end, it is the sign of a troubling trend. RCMP statistics show between 2015 and 2024, incidents of assault toward their members increased 87%, from less than 300 such occurrences in 2015 to over 550 in 2024. And in the past month alone, 2 officers killed in Ontario, with others shot at recently in Mississauga, and on Monday an officer was killed and another injured in Montreal.
It's obviously been a very challenging week or 10 days in policing across the country. And as I mentioned, it's just a stark reminder of the dangers our members face every day.
Now, Chamberlain reluctant Monday to provide a more fulsome update on the 2 officers, only saying he believes them to both be in stable condition and is hopeful they both make a full recovery. All this while we continue to await what charges the suspect may be facing. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
As police look into what happened, the shooting has shaken up many residents in what is typically a quiet community. Virginia DeClute has the details.
Multiple gunshots struck the quiet neighborhood in Melville on Sunday evening, as 2 RCMP officers were shot while responding to a report of an assault.
They went around the corner here on the east side of the house, and then all of a sudden, bang, 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 and I heard the whistle after, so I know it was a gunshot. It wasn't a firework. It wasn't a firecracker. It was a clear out a firearm.
Goebel says his neighbors were arguing in the front yard, adding the scene was heated, so he decided to record it.
The man that lives there and the lady that lives there were arguing with the neighbor about a property line.
Another neighbor was enjoying the weekend on his deck. He says his kids were just returning home from a friend's house.
I never heard anything until the kids actually came running in and said there's gunshots.
He thought it was Father's Day fireworks and decided to stay outside.
But I do physically know the one officer for sure was down, because I physically seen him crawling to the other side of the cruiser to take cover. I heard him yelling, "Help, I've been shot, I've been hit."
As a first responder, he says he felt awful, but he knew if he went to help, he'd be in the line of fire.
I just felt really helpless with him. Like, I could physically see him on the ground in pain. It's crazy for Melville.
The city of Melville has issued a statement on social media saying their community is hurting and they want the injured officers to know they are not alone, adding, "We are praying for your healing, your strength, and your safe recovery. We are grateful for your courage, your service, and the sacrifices you make for our community every day."
The police is on scene investigating, and residents are trying to understand what led to the shooting that left 2 RCMP officers injured. Frugina Declute, CTV News, Melville.
The city of Saskatoon has issued a warning to stay off the river tonight. It comes as the search continues for a jet ski rider who has been missing since Saturday. Hallie Mandrick has the details.
The Saskatoon Fire Department has spent the past 2 days searching for an individual who went missing after entering the weir of the South Saskatchewan River over the weekend. The person entered the weir while riding a jet ski shortly before 5 p.m. on Saturday. After fire crews attempted a rescue with specialized equipment, the rescue efforts transitioned into a recovery mission. The jet ski has been recovered and turned over to Saskatoon police. Meanwhile, 2 watercrafts have been dispatched to search the shoreline and the river south of the weir using sonar, and the public has been asked to avoid the area. Someone identifying themselves as a family member of the jet ski driver has identified him as a Don Vargas. The family told CTV News that they are located in Mexico and Vargas had been living in Saskatoon. According to a statement shared by the family, they are urging anyone with information regarding the incident to come forward. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, Jeff, tornado advisories issued earlier today for our area, but have since been canceled.
It's since been canceled. There are still some watches in effect. In fact, some warnings are still in effect. We'll talk about that later on in and around the Foam Lake area. But it's all because of this fairly robust system that continues to cycle slowly, ever so slowly towards Manitoba. And on the backhand side of it, even as we make our way into tomorrow, many parts of southern Saskatchewan can expect to deal with showers and a risk of a thunderstorm. We'll talk about all of those details later on.
A Saskatoon business group is optimistic about a potential partnership that could see the land for the downtown arena become an urban reserve. Laura Woodward on how some feel about the city exploring its options with the Muskeg Lake Cree Nation.
Saskatoon is embarking on a journey to create a downtown event and entertainment district.
A district that could sit on an urban reserve. An urban reserve is land purchased by a First Nation that is granted reserve status by the federal government. Once designated, the First Nation assumes jurisdiction over the land and city bylaws no longer apply. Agreements are then put in place to outline how the city and First Nation will work together going forward. City administration is suggesting Saskatoon explore a partnership with Muskeg Lake Cree Nation as an opportunity to advance the downtown event and entertainment district.
Muskeg Lake approached us and they asked if they could partner with us.
At this stage, Mayor Cynthia Block says City Council is not being asked to approve an urban reserve, but rather allow negotiations to see what might be possible.
This is the next step, and it could be a mighty one.
The Saskatoon Chamber of Commerce is optimistic.
It's an idea worth pursuing.
The potential partnership with Muskeg Lake Cree Nation comes after the city rejected a deal with an American-based venue operator, leaving a major funding gap for the project.
I think sometimes there's perhaps a greater certainty and comfort dealing with local partners versus those from away, only because those local partners are already very invested here.
Muskeg Lake Cree Nation is no stranger to urban reserves in Saskatoon. It created Canada's first commercial urban reserve in 1988 and has several properties in the city. In a statement, Muskeg Lake Cree Nation says this is just the beginning. Nothing is final, but the conversation is worth having. The potential partnership is set to be discussed here at City Hall on Wednesday. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The province is waiting to read the fine print attached to new federal funding for $10 a day childcare. On Friday, the federal government said it would distribute $5.4 billion over the next 2 years to support $10 a day childcare across the country. This morning, Education Minister Everett Hinley said more money was necessary to keep $10 a day daycare viable long term, but he's not sure what Saskatchewan's portion of the funding will be or how it will impact families just yet.
We're close to hitting our space creation target as per the original parameters of the first agreement, but there are some significant challenges in keeping this program sustainable without significant dollars. So we'll see what that money actually means for Saskatchewan.
Hinley says despite the additional funding, the province is moving ahead with changes to $10 a day daycare. Starting on Canada Day, the province will cover childcare costs for every licensed space instead of every child enrolled. The province and Saskatchewan Polytechnic are looking to create more opportunities for students as billions of dollars of big projects will push the demand for skilled labor over the next decade. Keenan Sorokon reports.
What are the odds? A new 5-year deal between the Saskatchewan Distance Learning Centre and Saskatchewan Polytechnic will align programs and help students complete prerequisites that may not have been offered at their home schools.
To start exploring careers before they actually graduate from high school.
Advanced Education Minister Ken Cheveldayoff was at a grad party over the weekend and learned the graduate will use the Distance Learning School this summer, getting necessary credits she needs from home before going to BC to start her program uninterrupted.
It's just given her a lot of options, and she was very excited about it and very happy. And that was at a large school, Ayton Bowman, but especially in rural Saskatchewan, it gives our graduating students, grade 11, grade 12, a tremendous opportunity.
With many skilled trades already facing a labor shortage that's expected to get worse with an aging population, Sask Poly says this is one way to get people into the workforce sooner.
We can't afford, to have them decide they want to do something and maybe be at the wrong choice. They waste a few years before they finally decide what they want to get into. We need people immediately.
Sask Poly and the province will target expansion in high-demand areas like healthcare, building trades, and welding as part of the deal.
Let's work backwards from what is it they see as a potential career and what are the high school courses that they need that are either offered in their local school or in a case like this, as we're talking about today, through the Distance Learning Corporation.
Officials say offering more courses from more places is part of the future of learning, and showing students the opportunities available early on is a key component of developing the workforce. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A 14-year-old boy has pleaded guilty to charges in a major Saskatoon crash last month. This was the scene on May 5th. Saskatoon police say they were called to Ottawa Drive near 58th Street West after reports of a Dodge Durango driving erratically. The Durango collided with a Ford Transit van south of the Highway 16 overpass, leaving the van's driver, an 82-year-old man, with critical injuries. Police said the Durango had been reported stolen from Prince Albert. A 14-year-old boy who cannot be named under the Youth Criminal Justice Act pleaded guilty to possession of stolen property over $5,000 and dangerous driving causing bodily harm. He is scheduled to be back in court next month. Saskatoon police have charged a 15-year-old boy in connection to a shooting on Sturby Place last week. On Thursday morning, just after 5 o'clock, emergency crews were called to the 10 block of Sturby Place, where a man was seriously injured after being shot. The teen has now been charged with aggravated assault, discharging a firearm in a reckless manner, and assault with a weapon and mischief under $5,000. The 12-year-old was sent to hospital after being struck by a vehicle on Saturday. Saskatoon police responded to the call in the 500 block of Manic Road in the Evergreen neighborhood shortly after 5 p.m., where a vehicle collided with the cyclist. The child was taken to hospital with serious injuries and, at last word, was in stable condition. Police are investigating what contributed to the crash. CTV News has learned a senior official with the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency is retiring. His departure follows the review of last year's historic wildfire season. CTV's Allison Bamford has that story.
1 year after wildfires destroyed most of Denair Beach in northern Saskatchewan, many still can't describe their emotions.
I can't put words to it. Nobody can put words to it. It's horrific. It's terrifying.
And frustrating, says Dustin Tremblay, who lost his house in the flames.
There was nothing left.
Earlier this month, he called for the resignation of top officials at the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency, which is in charge of the province's wildfire response.
When you make the calls and make the decisions that you made, you have to own up to them.
He's now happy to learn a senior leader is leaving. CTV News confirmed the SPSA and Steve Roberts, Vice President of Operations, mutually agreed to advance his retirement date after 20 years of service. Roberts' departure follows an independent review into last year's unprecedented wildfire season, finding the SPSA was not fully prepared, while outlining 11 recommendations to improve the province's wildfire response.
And that's what my fight has always been about. It's not about money, it's about accountability.
514 fires forced more than 10,000 people from their homes last year, including Rhonda Werbicki, who lost everything in the Denair Beach fire.
I just want people to learn, and I just don't want any other community to ever have to go through what we went through, because I really think that this could have been prevented.
The report's recommendations include planning for recruitment and training before the wildfire season begins. The SPSA says it will start searching for a new VP of operations immediately, and that replacement will help implement the recommendations. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
People gathering in Saskatoon yesterday for National Indigenous Peoples Day. Wanuskewin Heritage Park offered a variety of programming throughout the day, including an educational session on powwow dancing. Visitors were able to learn a bit about the history and cultural significance of different dances before watching a demonstration.
And our regalia are not costumes. This is who we are, this is our culture, and it's not going anywhere. So I hope they see the importance and the bright colors and the beauty, that our performance, we're not just dancing to dance, we're dancing to heal for ourselves, for our family, and for anyone that's watching, actually.
Sutherland is the mother of 4 powwow dancers, 2 of whom demonstrated their skills alongside her yesterday. The Saskatoon Forestry Farm Park and Zoo is mourning the loss of one of its residents. Kazi was the zoo's 19-year-old snow leopard. The city says he was humanely euthanized over the weekend after suffering declining health due to his advanced age. He was born at the Toronto Zoo before moving to Edmonton and then to Saskatoon. The zoo plans to set up 2 commemorative signs later this week outside the snow leopard habitat, where visitors will be welcome to leave a message for Kazi. A quick programming note for you now. CTV News at 5 and 6 will not air tomorrow as CTV brings you the World Cup match between Croatia and Panama. Game time is 5 p.m. Saskatchewan time. We will have a newscast on our website, ctvnews.ca/Saskatoon, starting at 6 o'clock. We will be back at 11:30 and resume regular news programming on Wednesday. Still to come, Ottawa announces a plan for nuclear energy. Also, 3 people are dead, including a police officer in Montreal. What led to the fatal shooting? You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. As you heard earlier, Canada's policing community is mourning the loss of another fallen member. A Montreal officer was among 3 people killed when shots were fired this morning.
It's a very, very sad day. It's a nightmare. But we have to be solid. We have to be solid for our lady police officer who survived. And we're all behind her. And, well, that's it.
Police say someone called 911 at about 11:35 about a person who was sticking a gun out of a window at the Hilton Hotel. Police arrived on scene and were shot at. A civilian was killed. A second police officer is stable after being seriously injured, and the suspect was killed. Investigators are trying to determine the motive. It is the 3rd time a police officer in Canada has been killed in less than 2 weeks. The Minister of Energy has announced what he called a new beginning for Canada's nuclear program, with a strategy that outlines a plan for the sector both at home and abroad. But the plan is short on details when it comes to funding or specific projects. CTV's Graham Richardson reports.
They are complex and expensive, but also steady workhorses of electricity in Canada, nuclear reactors. The government announcing today they want an aggressive strategy to boost Canada's nuclear output.
We are writing the next chapter in one of Canada's greatest industrial success stories.
The plan, build up to 10 new reactors. Right now, 90,000 people work in the industry. They want to double that in the next decade and enter 4 international markets by 2040.
If our goal is to double our grid and reach net zero by 2050, there is no credible plan for Canada to do that without nuclear energy.
All those new reactors will need more uranium. NextGen's deposit of uranium in northern Saskatchewan at the Athabasca Basin is one of the world's largest. The company will build a mine here and partner with First Nations and Métis people.
It's a very exciting time. We're players now in that space, and it's a good future to look at in regards to where nuclear energy is going.
All of this new generation will create more waste. Eventually, it will come here. The tiny town of Ignace in northwestern Ontario will be the site of a massive nuclear waste facility. The mayor says that has already benefited her town.
I've always said this is our future, and it's not just our future as in our Ignace and Wabigoon. It's Canada's future.
The Prime Minister was not involved in this strategy because of previous connections to companies that work in the nuclear space. The Prime Minister's office, when asked, would not tell us the names of those companies. Graham Richardson, CTV News, Ottawa.
The UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is stepping down after just 2 years in power. He led his Labour Party to a landslide victory in the 2024 election, but his popularity has hurt by a series of domestic missteps. Michael Couture has more on his decision and the reaction to it.
A week ago, the British Prime Minister insisted he'd fight any challenge to his leadership. But today, he announced he's stepping down.
Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
Keir Starmer's fall started when his judgment was questioned for appointing Peter Mandelson as ambassador to the U.S., despite his links to child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Then came local and regional election losses in May. Observers say it wasn't about the party, it was about the leader.
I think what was lacking was an ability to deliver that sense of political confidence and direction and mission.
Prime Minister Mark Carney praised Starmer's leadership in the coalition of the willing for Ukraine and the reinforcement of NATO.
He's helped build the historic partnership between Canada and the United Kingdom. He's someone who's always acted with integrity, with determination, with collaboration, and I consider him a friend.
Starmer's departure means the UK has had 6 prime ministers over the last decade. One of them, Liz Truss, served for just 50 days. While Starmer will stay on until his successor is chosen, it's widely expected that will be former Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham.
Praising the Prime Minister's dedication, service, and confirm that I will put myself forward in the process that will soon be underway.
The far-right party Reform UK is currently leading in the polls, and its leader believes instead of a leadership contest, there should be a general election.
If the next Prime Minister is the new MP for Makerfield, Andy Burnham, he didn't even stand at the last election on any manifesto at all.
If Burnham is unchallenged for the Labour Party's top job, he could become leader and UK Prime Minister by mid-July. Michael Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Hey everyone, here in the village of Peyton, we're hosting a rhubarb festival on June 27th.
Come on out and join us for a pancake breakfast, show and shine, market, silent auction, tea, and beer gardens with live entertainment. There's something for everyone.
You can find us on Rhubarb Festival on Facebook.
The festival goes rain or shine. So Jeff, what's the weather going to be like?
Well, you're not going to be real happy with this news and noise because you might have a little noise with it. But it looks like right now, this could change. Right now, it looks like Saturday, we're dealing with about a 60% chance of showers for the second Rhubarb Festival in Payton. And to remind people, things get rolling at 9 in the morning and go to midnight. And so there's lots of things going on, as the two ladies were saying. So a terrific way to celebrate rhubarb in all its forms. And there's a big rhubarb foodie contest going on, so there's lots of stuff happening. So let's see if we can't change this. But right now, Saturday, 60% chance of showers, 40% chance there won't be. Yeah, there we go. I'll take a look at our numbers right now. 16 degrees in Saskatoon. Some light showers in Prince Albert and the Battlefords right now. And as you can see, moderate winds in all three locations. Saskatoon's almanac today, a daytime high of just 16 degrees. So the first full day of summer, way below the seasonal average of 23 degrees. The record warm temperature on this date, 36 big degrees from 1900. The cold temperature record on this date from 1967. Yeah, centennial year, 2 degrees. 4:46 is when the sun came up, and it's going to go down at 9:31.
Coming up, connecting through culture and community to help in the battle against cancer, a Saskatchewan program to allow people to share and receive support.
Hockey in June because the Regina Pats have a brand new head coach. Tuesday on Your Morning, we'll introduce you to that coach, their vision for the team that is on the rise.
All right, taking a look through the live lens of Skycam, some ominous or somewhat ominous clouds. Certainly earlier in the day, we saw some interesting clouds, and we do have some of those images. We mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, Saskatoon was surrounded by a tornado watch that has since been lifted. But this picture was sent to us from Barb earlier today. Barb says this was looking south from Martinsville around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Lots of updraft and some rotation. And then this one from Terry White, you can certainly see the formations are certainly, there's a funnel cloud there, what certainly looks like one. Now, of course, a funnel cloud does not become a tornado until it touches down. So certainly some dangerous looking clouds there. We had the watch in place. It has since been lifted, but there are still some warnings and watches we'll talk about later on. It's all due to this big old low that it's fairly robust, and it's got a decent wingspan extending from Alberta right through to Montana, of course, some of the plain states as well. This is a slow moving low, so it's going to make its way into Manitoba. They don't need the rain, but it's likely they're going to be getting some of it, and it's still going to be impacting parts of Saskatchewan as we make our way into Tuesday. The eastern side of the province still dealing with rain. Still dealing with rain right now is Prince Albert and the Battlefords, and Saskatoon mainly cloudy at the moment. And as you can see, winds are on the moderate side in all three locations. Stony Rapids, the hot spot in the province, 24 degrees. Key Lake, the cold spot at 1. Around the province we go, 13 degrees in Lloydminster, 14 in Swift Current, 20 in Moose Jaw, 18 in Regina and Yorkton, and 15 in Estevan. In central parts of the province, temperatures ranging from 12 degrees in Spiritwood up to 20 in Wynyard. Most places in those mid to, I would just say mid-teens. Up north, warmer conditions there. It's seasonal or thereabouts. 19 in Sandy Bay, Island Falls, but it does get as warm as 23 way up north in Stony Rapids. And down south, kind of cold because of the rain that has moved through the area. Temperatures are just around 13 degrees for Leader, Maple Creek, and East End. And as we make our way eastward, it doesn't warm up all that much, but it does get up to 19 in Indian Head and Coronach and Weyburn. Now we'll take a look and see what we've got going on with our future cast. So it's a slow-moving system making its way into Manitoba, but as you can see, most of it in Manitoba, but there is that area of eastern Saskatchewan that is being impacted in the next 24 hours. So right now, we no longer have any severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. We did a little while ago in the Foam Lake area. Well, right now, you can sort of see east central to southeastern Saskatchewan underneath that watch box right now. For tomorrow, mix of sky conditions with temperatures seasonal or above for northern Saskatchewan. A little cooler, but still in the 20s for west central Saskatchewan with mainly cloudy or cloudy skies. And then things start to get a little bit more unsettled. Outlook in Swift Current anticipating some showers tomorrow with temperatures in the high teens. Maple Creek and Leader in and around the 20-degree mark with mainly cloudy skies. Possibility of some showers and thunderstorms for many parts of southeastern Saskatchewan with temperatures in the high teens, and that similar temperature pattern and unsettled situation in east central Saskatchewan, as we mentioned, with that storm moving into Manitoba. We've got got ourselves 5 to 10 millimeters of rain expected in the Battlefords tonight. The risk of a thunderstorm tomorrow, mainly cloudy, and then warming up to 26 by Friday, but then dropping off temperature-wise, and we're expecting showers on Saturday, Sunday, and maybe Monday. Prince Albert, risk of a thunderstorm tonight as the showers taper off. Mainly cloudy skies tomorrow with a high of 21, warming up to 26 by Friday, so pretty nice in that respect. Cloudy and 24 on Saturday, and then temperatures cooling off as we get into Sunday and Monday, and a chance of showers there. And a chance of showers for Saskatoon. In fact, 5 to 10 millimeters of rain expected tonight with a risk of a thunderstorm. Winds out of the northeast at 20, 11 degrees the overnight temperature, warming up to 18 with a 70% chance of showers tomorrow. And then things start to settle down, getting up to 26 on Friday, but an unsettled weekend and start to the work week as we roll into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Afternoon, everybody. Norm! How you doing, Norm? What do you know? Not enough.
The man behind some of the best-known comedies, including Cheers, has died. The legendary James Burrows also directed more than 1,000 episodes of classic programs like Taxi, Friends, and Will and Grace. Along the way, he picked up 11 Primetime Emmy Awards and 5 Directors Guild Awards. His family confirmed he died Friday, saying, quote, he passed away peacefully today, surrounded by his family. James Burrows was 85. And more sad news, a titan of the music industry, Clive Davis, has taken his final bow. Davis guided the careers of Whitney Houston, Barry Manilow, Aretha Franklin, and Bruce Springsteen, just to name a few. He started his career at Columbia Records, rising to becoming a household name in the music business. His autobiography, by the way, The Soundtrack of My Life, is a great read. His last position was Chief Creative Officer for Sony Music Entertainment. Davis had been hospitalized recently with respiratory problems. He was 94.
Bonnie needs help from someone at least from the same century. So long, toys.
Well, here's a surprise to no one. The latest film in the Toy Story franchise topped the weekend box office. Toy Story 5 brought in $160 million US across North America, which is the biggest opening weekend for any movie this year. Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day fell to second with $17 million in ticket sales. Meanwhile, the horror film Obsession placed third, bringing in just over $14 million bucks.
All right, Jeff, the picks of the day have been rolling in all weekend. What did you decide?
They certainly have. We've selected these three, and we always got a lot of, hey, look, it's a rainbow picture. I like rainbow pictures. This one comes to us from Ada. We're told this photo was taken by Ada from her window after a pour down in Zenon Park. So a lovely rainbow. Really vivid colors there, too. So looks like the guard's doing pretty good, too. The next one comes to us from Al. Hi, Jeff. This is a flicker having a drink in our backyard in Saskatoon. That is a great shot. Those are lovely looking birds. They're very striking. And finally, from Margie, happy 80th birthday to Lorraine Madsen of Leask today. Best wishes from family and friends. And yes, we'd like to add our happy birthday wishes to this. So Lorraine, I hope you're having a great day and happy 80th birthday. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put pick of the day in the subject line. That helps us go through the emails and know where the photos are.
Still to come on CTV News, Cultural Connection, the program offering support and guidance for Indigenous cancer patients.
Greetings, everyone. Despite progress in cancer prevention, the potentially life-threatening disease continues to be a significant issue in Indigenous communities in Saskatchewan. Now a new program is taking off based on Indigenous knowledge, culture, and community and will soon be available for patients in northern cities.
Every Wednesday at the Pasqua Hospital, Indigenous patients and families meet to discuss life with cancer and its impact. Brianna Belgard was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2014. Her and her son Lachlan regularly attend and say it's a time when they can express how they really feel.
There's a lot of feelings that I didn't want to burden my family with because I always felt like I was already burdening them with so much, and I didn't want to, overwhelm anyone with how I was feeling.
The Grief and Loss Group started this year and is now in its second cycle. Grounded in First Nations and Métis worldviews, the group recognizes grief as a holistic experience. Led by Métis elder Daryl Klein, he says he tries to meet people where they are.
Whether it's the stages of grief or just grief, what that means to people as well too. But I let the group dictate where that takes me as well too. Wherever they're at that day, that's where I'm going to focus.
The group is a first of its kind for the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency. Virginia Bird is a consultant for the agency and says Indigenous peoples are more prone to facing later stage cancers, likely due to inequalities to treatment access and other factors.
We see that especially in the north where it's extremely hard to travel for treatment. So it definitely does impact the Indigenous community differently, and we're looking at creative ways of supporting that.
A First Nations Métis cancer strategy is now being developed through collaboration between Indigenous partners, community members, and the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency. Thanks to positive feedback from patients and families, there are plans to expand to Saskatoon and other cities.
I feel like this will be great for many other people who are experiencing the same things as me, that they can open up about this too, and this will be great for everyone in Canada.
The Saskatchewan Cancer Agency says there are plans to continue improving all services to ensure earlier diagnoses and better outcomes for Indigenous patients. For Indigenous Circle, I'm Mick Favel in Regina.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
When we come back, the Saskatoon Heritage Society marks a milestone, and later motorcycle enthusiasts ride for Dad.
Here's what's happening in our community. Saskatoon Summer Players present the classic Broadway musical, Oliver. It runs until Sunday, June 28th at the Ramey Arts Centre. For information and tickets, saskatoonsummerplayers.ca. The second Paint and Rhubarb Festival is set for Saturday, June 27th. Pancake breakfast, kids zone, bake sale, beer garden with live music, wagon rides, and so much more. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar, or scan the QR code on your screen. All right, time to take a look at the rural forecast for tomorrow. And right now, things are starting to calm down towards the western side of the province. As you can see, temperatures creeping back towards seasonal numbers for summer. We've got ourselves, though, some unsettled conditions as that system continues to make its way into Manitoba. But on the backhand side of it, it is robust. And we can show you that it's going to be robusto as we make our way into south central and eastern parts of the province. The chance of showers, between 30 and 60% chance of showers from some locations. And certainly a risk of thunderstorms that goes along with that. Over towards the western side, things start to warm up a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Let's check in with Theodore tomorrow. They are looking at 16 degrees, a chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm, and a bit of a moderate wind out of the northeast. So that's how the day is shaping up for Theodore tomorrow. And Theodore is one of the places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
An update now on the shooting in Melville that left 2 RCMP members seriously injured. RCMP telling us 55-year-old Marcus Dodge from Melville is facing several charges, including 2 counts of attempted murder. RCMP say the 2 officers remain in hospital in stable condition, but RCMP saying their injuries are also potentially life-altering. The accused is scheduled to be in court tomorrow morning. The Saskatoon Heritage Society celebrating a milestone birthday over the weekend. Saturday marked the 50th anniversary of the organization, and a free event was hosted at River Landing to mark the occasion. Visitors were welcome to come by and take part in games, listen to guest speakers, as well as historians, and learn a little bit about the history of Saskatoon.
We've got a kids coloring corner here and lots of games and activities. And then we have wise folks, right? We have Indigenous knowledge keepers and all that give us that education, those stories of the past, how we came to be, which gives us a pretty good indication of that past meeting our present so we can make a better future.
A series of walking tours were also held throughout the afternoon featuring various Saskatoon landmarks. Inflation hit an annualized rate of 3.2% in May, the highest it has been in 2 years. Marilla Fernandez has more.
The big reason is still gas prices, which in May spiked 33% year over year. The Iran conflict also led to higher jet fuel costs, which showed up in May. And then there were groceries. The cost of fresh vegetables rose 9%, with a big move up for tomatoes. The price of fresh fruit also moved up over 5%. The memory chip shortages also put pressure on the prices of computer equipment and supplies. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar's up to 70.62. West Texas Intermediate down to 74.82. Western Canadian Select up 15 cents to 62.45, and the TSX gained 144 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up, hitting the highway to fight prostate cancer. Then a fundraiser to flip for another successful civic breakfast.
Hey there, it's Derek Chesney here at the Saskatoon Crime Stoppers. This week on Crime Stoppers Unmasked, we're once again asking for the public's help in gathering information on an unsolved homicide from June 12th of 2024. Harvey Zerb, 66 years old, lived in a care home in the Fairhaven neighborhood of Saskatoon. Harvey had a routine he liked to follow and was often up earlier than the other residents of the home. At 5 a.m. on June 12th, 2024, Harvey went to the local 7-Eleven, which was a short walk from his house, to purchase a drink. At 5:25 a.m., he left the convenience store to head back home through Herbert S. Sears Park. As Harvey made his way home through the park, he was attacked. One witness saw 3 possible suspects leaving the scene. Harvey was brutally beaten with what police believe was a T-shaped piece of metal. He was found around 6 a.m. with life-threatening injuries. Harvey received medical attention on scene and was transported to hospital, where he later died. Police, through their investigation, seized many hours of video surveillance. After reviewing the crime scene footage, it is seen that there's a great deal of foot traffic in and around the area of Herbert S. Sears Park that morning. Therefore, it is known that there are also witnesses that have seen something that have not come forward yet. Do you have any information about this senseless and violent homicide, or who's responsible for Harvey's death? If so, please give us a call, 8-1-800-222-8477, or you can leave a tip online at SaskatoonCrimeStoppers.com. We pay cash rewards of up to $2,000 for information that leads to an arrest. We don't want your name, we just want your assistance. Saskatoon Crime Stoppers, do your part to stop crime in our community.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here tonight on CTV, starting at 7 with Sullivan's Crossing. We'll see if motorcycles were on the streets of Saskatoon this weekend. 267 motorbikes filled the parking lot of the Western Development Museum as part of the 18th annual Saskatoon Motorcycle Ride for Dad on Saturday. Riders drove through parts of the city before heading to Prince Albert and back. The ride raises awareness for prostate cancer and funds for research. Organizers say the ride has had a steady flowing since its inception and continues to grow each year.
It's a great group. Everybody's excited, energized to be here. We're all here for the same reason, and it's a very unique situation. People get behind a cause, rally for the cause, and the impact is amazing.
Since the event started in 2009, the Saskatoon Ride for Dad has raised more than $2.1 million. This year's ride raised $92,000. Well, this year's Civic Pancake Breakfast raised a record amount of money to help support the United Way.
2, please.
2, okay. Thank you.
1,476 breakfast tickets were sold this year. That's up from 1,044 last year. The breakfast held last Thursday raised $15,000, the highest donation total in its history. This year's event marked the 50th year Saskatoon has been serving up pancakes and all the fixings for its annual breakfast. So people did their part to eat those pancakes.
And so did Mother Nature. It was a beautiful day to be out and enjoying an early morning breakfast and get fueled up for the day ahead. We've got, you might need some extra fuel to deal with some of these cooler temperatures. We've got rain conditions around 9 a.m. and then things start to smarten up a little bit in the afternoon, but warmer weather is on the way.
For a few days.
For a few days.
When it changes again.
Yeah, it does.
But you're working on it.
I'm working on it, that's right.
All right, that's our show. Thanks for watching.
Bye now.